Welcome back to the Rowdy Player One channel. Today we have finally come back to the TBR. Haven't done a video on a TBR in, holy cow, I guess it's been 5-6 months probably. It's been a while, and I am ready to try to step back into it and see what we've got going on for the month of December. It's been a busy month, this month of November, of course, and my surgery and all that. But yeah, so now we are going to look into December's TBR. First thing we're going to do is I have got a buddy read with the Book Bros, part of the little group I'm in, and we are going to be reading When Christmas Comes by Andrew Clavin. And not that long. Supposed to be I think a thriller, if I'm correct. So I'm very curious about this. It's not that long of a book. I don't even know if it's under 300 pages, so that's always a plus. And looking forward to reading a thriller. I don't read many of those. It's either like a horror, fantasy, or sci-fi, basically. And I'm starting to get into historical fiction, which I'm looking forward to doing that. And hopefully this is going to be good. So I don't know when we're doing this as far as the buddy read, but once I do, I'll post about it and everything. So we'll see. So that's one. I'm going to attempt to do 5 books this month. It's obviously a busy month for everybody. Still recovering from my surgery, and it's busy. But we are bringing back the Wheel of TBR Destiny. On this, what we have here, I did not put particular books because I don't know what I want to read. So I've let the wheel choose, and then we will go from there. But we have novellas right here. So any novella I'm allowed to read. The next one, indie book that I want to read. Book from my Kindle. Now, I've specifically put this on there because if it is from my Kindle, then I'm not allowed to have it physically. Not saying I won't buy it after it, but it has to be a book from my Kindle that I have not purchased or been gifted in physical form. So it has to be an ebook. Let's see. Stephen King book. Any Stephen King book I want to read, I'm down for that. Standalone book. This has to be a standalone, obviously, self-explanatory. Classic. So this can be any classic that I have now. I think the only classics I have are huge, unless I'm lucky enough I can find one that's not. So that definitely worries me. So hopefully, I said I don't want it, but because there is some that I do. But we will see. Historical fiction book. As I'd said, I'm really wanting to get back into historical fiction, or not get back into, just get into in general. I read 11/22/63. Incredible. And it's just making me want to read more and more of them. So we will see. Christian fiction books. So I've got a bunch of Christian fiction that I'm very interested in reading, like Ted Decker and Brian Davis and people like that, and wanted to check out their stuff. So that's one of them. Continue any series. I do hope I get this because I've got like 4 or 5 at least series that I've started and I need to finish. So hopefully that will happen. Horror book. I've really been enjoying some horror here lately, and I'm ready to continue on. It's always right there. And then we're back to novella. So that's the genres or things that I'm going to attempt to read. So we will see what the old wheel lets me do. So how I'm going to do this is I'm going to spin the wheel 4 times, and then I will come back and show you what I picked and why. So let's get started. First wheel spin, big money. Book from my Kindle. Okay, let me write these down so I don't forget them. Book from my Kindle. As I said, it can only be for my Kindle. I cannot, or I do not have the physical copy of this whatsoever. Um, so only Kindle. So we will see what that will be. The second one will be book for my Kindle, which I'm not doing. Only one of each, so that's what we will go with. Standalone. Okay. So if you can read it, it is the dot or is the line. Okay. Standalone. Down. Up next. The third book on the wheel will be Continue Any Series. Yes. So happy about this. I've got to get some stuff finished. I want to start something new. There's like 2 or 3 series I definitely want to start, but I want to finish one so bad. Just try to get them off my plate. So, all right. And the last one will be Christian fiction book. Awesome. We're going to try out something new. I've got several down there that I need to check out. So we will pick them out. I'll see what I got, and then I will get back with you here in just a second. Matter of fact, it'll be like I never even left. Woo. Okay, I'm back. So I've got my 4, and I think it's going to be a good month. I've got high hopes. The first one was the Kindle, only on my Kindle. And what could it be? And I chose The Floating Castle by L.N. Holmes. She was kind enough to send this to me last month. I think that's right. Pretty sure. Yeah, last month. And I've been dying to read it. And I think it's going to be really, really good. I'd heard great things from Josh at Already Overbooked, and I've got pretty high hopes on how good this is going to be. But a little about the floating castle. In a world where demons control the supply of magic and dragons are both feared and sentient, 3 women combine forces to oppose an evil prince and escape his floating castle. So this sounds really good. I think it's a little, obviously, dragon, magic, and I think there's some, I think maybe like Asian inspired type stuff with this. Not really sure, but I think I may be right about that. But very much looking forward to it. I know it says it's like fans of Game of Thrones and Witcher will appreciate this epic fantasy for its morality. I can't read. For its morally gray women, dangerous political intrigue, and sinister magic. So I think it's going to be awesome. And by what I understand, if you're into a big epic fantasy series, I think Ellen was talking about it's going to be somewhere between 8 and 10 books, I think is what she had said. So that is going to be huge. So I highly recommend getting in on the ground floor and starting now. It's not that long. On my Kindle, it's showing nearly 500 pages, but I think an actual paperback is like 388. So under 400 is not bad at all. You know, that's a pretty decent book for most people, which is a lot better than these massive tomes that fantasy normally gives us. So that's the Floating Castle. Up next was a standalone, and I went with, which kind of scratched an itch for both that I've been wanting to read. I went with The Women by Christine Hanna. I've been dying to read some of her stuff. I've heard she's an awesome, awesome author. And this is historical fiction as well, which is what I, for some reason, am really into right now. And this has got something to do with women in war. Like I think they might be, women can be heroes. When 20-year-old nursing student Frankie McGarthy hears these words, it is a revelation. Raised in the sun drenched, idyllic world of Southern California and sheltered by her conservative parents, she has always prided herself on doing the right thing. But in 1965, the world is changing, and she suddenly dares to imagine a different future for herself when her brother ships out to serve in Vietnam. She joins the Army Nurse Corps and follows his path. As green and inexperienced as the men sent to Vietnam to fight, Frankie is overwhelmed by the chaos and destruction of war. Each day is a gamble of life and death, hope and betrayal. Friendships run deep and can be shattered in an instant. In war, she meets and becomes one of the luckiest and brave and broken, one of the lucky, the brave, the broken, and the lost. So that sounds awesome. I really have high hopes for this. I'm hoping it's so good. Um, so maybe it will be. So we will see. But the women, Christine Hanna is going to be my standalone for the month. Up next for my continue any series, I am going to go with Dark Age by Pierce Brown. I have this and Lightbringer left, and I am completely caught up with Red Rising, and man, I am so ready for Red God because I've been dying to get back to this series. I took a break because I'd ended up reading what was it, the last two books back in dang near back to back with Morning Star and Iron Gold, and Morning Star, which even go back to Golden Sun, are two of the best books I've ever read. And then you combine them together, and oh my gosh, they're incredible. But Iron Gold, I wasn't a big fan of because it went to a multi POV type deal, and I'm a Darrow guy. I mean, he's my favorite by far. And you're so used to going with just one character the whole time, for three straight books, which were phenomenal. And then you branch out to these to four POVs. It's like I just don't have any good feelings with these people, and that's something that I like in a book is like they get sucked into this like main character, and then especially when you've read three books of them, and then you branch out to all these others, you're like, what are you doing? Like, why are we doing this? It just doesn't feel like they have that much to deal with the story, which I'm sure they do, but the further along, maybe it gets better and better with it. I don't know. We'll see though. But Iron Gold's next. I'm not going to read anything onto this just because it's book 5 in a series. So I don't want to give any spoilers, but Darrow's the man. That's all you need to know. So continue along. And let's see. Finally, Christian fiction. I went with The World's Next Door by C.E. White. And the reason I picked this was if you've been on my channel at all, I've said it multiple times over the past however long I've been on BookTube. C.E. White is basically the reason or the person that got me into reading, period, like in general or however, because I read Vincent in Wonderland, which was just me and my wife went to a homeschool convention because my wife homeschools our kids, and I never was a reader, and I'd had this book for like at least 2 years, I'd say, and finally picked it up one day and read it and loved it, and then it kind of started my whole journey into reading and then into BookTube and whatever else. And I've been meaning to go back and read the main book in this, which that one was kind of like a prequel type deal. But The World's Next Door, I've had this forever too. Whenever I went back the next year, I was like, I need to get the first one, or I guess technically the second, or however you want to do it. But just a little about this. It says, a mysterious old house, another world, a terrifying enemy. 12-year-old Janie Rutland somewhat grudgingly befriends Reggie Rankin, the weird new kid at school, and finally has someone to investigate her curious sightings in the abandoned house next door. When they find there's an impossible world in danger of total destruction, they face a choice. Do they have what it takes to save it? An eccentric fellowship gathers as they embark on a perilous quest in a race against time and their own fears, traveling in what can only be described as a pirate hover ship. They're threatened by monsters and storms, shipwrecks and death. Can they find the answers they need to save Cien and maybe all worlds? So, this sounds pretty cool. Be interesting. It is a YA Christian fiction book. And yeah, I think it's going to be pretty good. Like I said, I've been meaning to get to this forever and just never have. So now I'm kind of forced to, which is kind of good. That's not bad at all. So I'll recap. This is what we're going to be rolling with through the month of December. Obviously, when Christmas comes, for the buddy read, thriller, I think it's going to be good. Looking forward to that. Then we got The World's Next Door by C.E. White. YA fantasy. I think it's going to be good. Then we're going to continue with Dark Age by Pierce Brown, book 5. Yes, book 5 of the Red Rising series. That's a thick boy, too. Then we've got Christine Hanna's The Women, historical fiction set in the 1960s, dealing with the Vietnam War and women nurses over there. So I think this is going to be awesome. I'm really looking forward to that one. And then finally, we have The Floating Castle by L.N. Holmes. And I think I got a really good set of books here. And you know what I just noticed? 3 of my 5 are women authors. That's pretty cool. So I need to get more of those in my life anyway. So I think it's going to be really good. But yeah, so that is the TBR for December. I look forward to getting these started. If you will, let me know in the comments below. That rhymed. Not too bad. What you're reading? What's your TBR for December? Do you have like one specific book you're wanting to read? If you want to give me your list of 15 books that, you're just consuming everything that you possibly can and you got the time, more power to you. I hope you kill it. But other than that, y'all have a fantastic day. And if you will, like the video, subscribe to the video, and hit that notification bell when you do to let you know whenever my videos come up. But other than that, y'all have a great day and God bless.